It was a few days before Christmas. The little engines are getting ready for the holidays, battling through snowdrifts. Minds closed for the winter season. The passenger and goods trains increased. Roads were blocked because due to snow. At Allsboro, the manager walked out of the office. He has a special, but he is looking for an engine to do the task. Till he saw Stuart shunting some wagons in the yard. He strolled over to Stuart. "Ah, Stuart, I have a special for you," said the manager.
"Oh, yes, sir. That would be a nice change."
"Indeed, I want you to fetch it, and it will be waiting near Olfstead. Please be back here by sunset. It will be snowing tonight. Don't worry about the shunting. I'll send a different engine to look after the yard till you get back. And make sure your sandbox is filled up before you leave." Manager warned Stuart. Stuart wasn't paying any attention to the manager's warning. He was thinking about the special of what it could be. So he set off on his important special. He arrived at the siding near Olfstead, and he saw the most splendid sight of all. Stuart gazed in front, and there it was, a flatbed. But on the flatbed, it was a tree. It was tied down and covered up. Stuart gasped in amazement.
"Wow, this must be the special that the manager was telling me,"
he muttered to himself. He coupled up to the flatbed. Atlas bustled in.
"Oh, Stuart, you have to be very careful. The tracks all the way back to Allsboro will be slippery. Have you filled up with your sandbox?"
he asked. But Stuart was too excited to listen. He steamed away back down the mountain towards Allsboro. Stuart had a good time. His fire burned brightly and kept toasty warm for him and his crew. He was thinking about the Christmas tree and how jolly it would be. He came to a hill. His crew used his sandbox. Stuart has no problem going down the hill.
"Ha, no trouble at all,"
he thought. Stuart stops at a loop. He has to wait for a signal to change. Moments later, Jim puffs past Stuart and calls out,
"The next hill is very icy. I hope you have your sandbox filled up."
But Stuart, however, wasn't paying attention. He was still thinking about the Christmas tree. Later, when the signal finally changed, Stuart set off again. Soon, he came to another hill.
"Ah, no worries."
Now there was trouble. As Stuart puffs down the hill, his crew used his sandbox. Nothing happened. They try again. Still nothing.
"Oh, horrors! My sandbox! Help!"
Stuart slides down the hill on a tremendous speed. He slid down and derailed on the curve. The flatbed and the brake van were still on the tracks. Luckily, no one was hurt, but Stuart was battered, weary, and covered in snow. He lay on its side of a slope. His crew bundled up and went for help. His fire had gone out. Stuart became cold and alone. He regrets not listening to Jim, Atlas, and most of all, his manager. Minutes have gone by. Help hasn't come.
"Oh, I'm a very silly little engine,"
he said. Soon enough, dark clouds loom ahead, and it begins to get dark. Moments later, snow started to fall, and almost covered him from his buffers to cab. Soon he heard a whistle. It was Duke, pushing a wrecked train along with the manager and his crew. They climbed down the steep slope, and the manager went in front of Stuart. "Well, Stuart, I thought you were a very careful engine, but I was wrong. But you should have listened to me and the others about making sure your sandbox is filled up."
"I'm very sorry, sir."
"I should think so too. We will have you back on the rails, but it will take a little while."
Yes, sir.
In no time at all, Stuart was back on the rails. He and Duke set off once more to make up for lost time. They arrived at Allsboro Station on time. The villagers cheered when they saw the tree. They lifted the tree and began to quickly decorate it. Then Duke pushed Stuart to the workshop near the station. Stuart was left alone and felt sorry for himself for being a silly little engine. The manager noticed this from the station platform. He felt sorry for him, so he had an idea. The next night, Christmas Eve has arrived. Stuart still felt down. Suddenly, a large crowd of villagers started to sing, along with the manager and his wife. Stuart was surprised and started to feel cheerful again.
Merry Christmas.
Yes, Stuart, it was the best Christmas ever.